Nara Leão was a Brazilian bossa nova and MPB singer and occasional actress. Her husband was Carlos Diegues, director and writer of Bye Bye Brasil. Leão was born in Vitória, Espírito Santo. When she was 12, her father gave her a guitar, since he was worried about her being shy. Her teachers were popular musician and composer Patricio Teixeira and classical guitarist Solon Ayala. Aurelio Lampredi, 1954, Ferrari 375 plus V12 engine. Aurelio Lampredi was born in Livorno, Tuscany. He studied mechanical engineering at the Institut Technique Supérieur in Freiburg. A classical music lover, he had wanted to study piano but was persuaded by his father to choose a more secure career path. After a brief apprentice at the Livorno shipyard, he started working at Piaggio in 1937, where he was supervised by Corradino D'Ascanio. Richard Quine was an American director, actor, and singer. He began acting as a child in radio vaudeville and stage productions before being signed to Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer in his early 20s. When his acting career began to wane after World War II, Quine began working as a film director. He later moved into producing and directing television. Quine's films as director include Belle, Book and Candle, The World of Susie Wong, 1960, Paris When It Sizzles, 1964. Betti Alver was imprisoned by the Soviets and died in Siberia. She began as a prose writer. She became known for being a member of the Arbujad, a small group of influential Estonian poets including Bernard Kangro, Uku Masing, Kersti Merilaas, Mart Raud, August Sand, Heiti Talvik and Paul Viiding. After the war, her husband Heiti Talvik was imprisoned by the Soviets and died in Siberia. For 2 or 3 decades she was silent as a poet as protest of Soviet rule, but renewed activity in the 1960s. Henri Sauget was a French composer. Born in Bordeaux, he adopted his mother's maiden name as part of his professional pseudonym. His output includes operas, ballets, 4 symphonies, concertos, chamber and choral music and numerous songs, as well as film music. Although he experimented with musique concrète and expanded tonality, he remained opposed to particular systems, and his music evolved little. He developed tonal or modal ideas in smooth curves, producing an art of clarity, simplicity, and restraint. Rostislav Playat was a Soviet and Russian stage and film actor. He was named People's Artist of the USSR in 1961 and awarded the USSR State Prize in 1982. Born in Rostov-on-Don as Rostislav Ivanovich Playat, the future actor was so obsessed with theater that he decided to correct his name at the passport office to make it more euphonious and memorable. His father, Ivan Iosifovich Playat, was a lawyer of Polish descent, although a very Russified one. Donna Drake, among other names for her musical and dance acts. Drake was born Eunice Westmoreland in Miami, Florida, on November 15, 1914, to Joseph Andrew Westmoreland, Sr. and Novella. She had 4 siblings. Ethnicity: the 1910 United States Census, taken in Florida, lists her father as black and her mother, taken in Alabama, as black. The 1920 United States Census, taken in Florida, records her and her parents as being mulatto. James Greenway was an American ornithologist. An eccentric, shy, and often reclusive man, his survey of extinct and vanishing birds provided the base for much subsequent work on bird conservation. Early years: Greenway was born in New York City, though grew up on the Lauder Greenway estate in Greenwich, Connecticut, with his brothers G. Lauder Greenway and Gilbert Greenway, as the son of James Greenway Sr., founder of the Yale School of Public Health. Ernest John Prémaux was an American prelate of the Roman Catholic Church. He served as Bishop of the Diocese of Manchester in New Hampshire from 1960 to 1974. Early life. Prema was born in Chicago, Illinois, on September 17, 1909. He studied at Archbishop Quigley Preparatory Seminary in Chicago. He was ordained to the priesthood for the Archdiocese of Chicago by Cardinal George Mundelein on April 7, 1934. After serving at parishes and schools in the Archdiocese, he spent 12 years in Rome. Ennio Balbo was an Italian film, television, and voice actor. Born in Naples, Balbo made his debut on stage immediately after the Second World War alongside Paolo Borboni and Lamberto Picasso in Luigi Pirandello's Così e Grave si vi per. He was later a member of the theater company of Gino Cervi, as well as one of the members of the Society of the Four alongside Valeria Morricone, Lia Zappelli, and Gianni Agus. Nilüfer Hanım Sultan was an Ottoman princess. She was the first wife of Mozam Jah, the second son of Mir Osman Ali Khan, the last Nizam of Hyderabad in India. Nilüfer Hanım Sultan was born on 4 January 1916 at the Gürstab Palace in Istanbul, at a time when her mother's family was ruling the Ottoman Empire. Her father was Damad Moralizade Selahaddin Ali Bey, son of Moralizade Maimed Ali Bey and Zara Aliyai Hanım. Suleyman Rustam was a Soviet and Azerbaijani poet, playwright, and translator. Suleyman Rustam was born in Novxanı village in family of a blacksmith. He studied at Russo-Tatar school until revolution. Suleyman Rustam wrote that Suleyman Sani Akhundov, who was the headmaster and pedagogue at the school, evoked his interest to literature, and such famous pedagogues as M.Vezirov, R.Tahirov and A.Israfilbeyli strengthened this interest. Carl Benditson was an American politician and military officer who served in the Washington Army National Guard during World War II and later as the United States Undersecretary of the Army. Benditson is remembered primarily for his role as an architect of the internment of Japanese Americans during World War II, a role he tried to downplay in later years. Carl Benditson was born into a Lithuanian Jewish family in Aberdeen, Washington. His parents, Albert M. Kazuo Mori was a Japanese film director who primarily worked in popular genres like the jidaigeki. Mori directed over 100 films in his life. Born in Ehime Prefecture, Mori graduated from Kyoto University before joining Nikatsu's Uzumasa studio in 1933. A favorite of the producer Masachi Nagata, he followed him to Daiichi Eiga and Shinko Kainma before getting a chance to direct in 1936 with Adachi Hizukiraichi. J. Ayer was an English philosopher known for his promotion of logical positivism, particularly in his books Language, Truth and Logic and the Problem of Knowledge, 1956. Ayer was educated at Eton College and the University of Oxford, after which he studied the philosophy of logical positivism at the University of Vienna. From 1933 to 1940, he lectured on philosophy at Christ Church, Oxford. During the Second World War, Ayer was a special operations executive and MI6 agent.